Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system. And frankly, screw that. Sick of it. And it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked with the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help a nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Everyone, today we'll be talking to Jose, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, he is working at a mobile urgent care full-time, but also co-owns a men's health and weight loss clinic. The clinic is doing fair overall, but he's needing help scaling the practice, overcoming revenue plateaus, and becoming operationally efficient. Hey, Jose, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing, Justin?
Doing good, man. Thanks for hopping on here on a Saturday. So, yeah, tell us about yourself. How long you been a nurse practitioner for, and kind of how you got to where you're at.
Yeah. So I've been a nurse practitioner for about 3 years. I was RN for about 5 or 6 there. Before that, working in the pediatric ICU. Before that, I was kind of doing EMS. Never worked on the street like on a rig or anything. But during like nursing school and stuff, I would work at like a plasma donation clinic, stuff like that. Yeah. So. And then we started the business about 2 years ago.
Cool, man.
About a year in.
All right. So you have a pretty diverse background, it sounds like. Congratulations on starting the practice essentially a year in of being an NP. A lot of people wait many, many years. So you just jumped right in. So well done.
I think I finished the first course during NP school. I was like, oh, cool. All right. So I got to get my feet wet really quick. And then I'm going to, so I kind of already had in the back of my mind, like, okay, entrepreneurism. This is going to be the thing where the direction I'm going to head into once I transition into being an MP, get that fluff out of the way. So,
yeah. Good job,
sure.
Man. Yeah. I think you're able to break out of that, kind of warped mindset of what people, what nursing school kind of brainwashes you into, and NP school and the insurance model and all that kind of stuff. So
yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you got out of it pretty quick. So you work at an urgent care full time, which is like a mobile urgent care. So is that like an insurance based thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that keeps you pretty busy 4 days a week, I think is what you said.
Yeah. 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts. I do the afternoon shift. So I'll have my mornings open for the clinic, and then in the afternoons from 12 to 10 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday, I'm at the urgent care or mobile urgent care.
Gotcha. So you work a little bit in the morning, and then maybe on your day off on Friday or something, you see some patients, and then.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you're pretty busy right now. So I guess my first question for you is what's preventing you from quitting the job and diving into the business?
Yeah, well, there's me and my business partner. We both kind of came to an agreement. We're like, okay, we'll work our full-time jobs, maximize as much as we can, reinvest any profits back into the business. So we started the business with about, I don't know, I think we split it so like 6,000 total, 3,000 me, 3,000 him. And first year we're like, well, worst case scenario, hopefully we make 30,000, break even, I don't know, something like that. That'd be great, and kind of reinvest it back. And it was like 120. So we kind of reinvested right back into the business. We didn't take any payouts or anything like that. Um, Second year, you know, the we I think last year we think we went 3x, 3.4x to be exact on revenue, and we try to keep our operational cost like it'll teeter between 50-55% um um cost to operate, and the rest is all profit. And then we usually we either let it sit there, or we're like, hey, let's just pay ourselves out. You get six, I get six. So essentially, I tried actually going just 1099 at the per diem at the urgent care, and doing more hours at Alphagenics at my place, and it just wasn't busy enough to justify it. And then it kind of started eating a little bit into like my savings. I was like, okay, well now it was a good trial, but eventually the course that I'm running right now it's gonna, I'm gonna wipe out my savings. So I went back to working full time. So that was a good trial run.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you had to do it to learn, right? I mean, that's just kind of part of it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep,
The only way to find out is to try it, right? I mean, experience is the
that's
greatest
right.
teacher. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like you're doing about 400,000 ish in 2025 gross revenue ish, something like that.
Correct.
Um, and margin is 45%. So it sounds like you're hitting pretty good numbers there. That sounds pretty good, on par with where you should be. I mean, second year you essentially 3x your revenue, which is really good. That's probably outpacing the average. Most people first year do, whatever, and then the second year is usually 1.52x revenue year after year. And so you surpass that. Now, that was 2025. Now 2026, what's it shaping out to be? What do you think?
Yeah, so we've been pretty so our what we noticed was the first few weeks of January, it gets slow. People are kind of like getting into the groove of new year, new me kind of deal, getting to the health kick. And then I think once they start struggling, like week 3, 4 in, and they start kind of our phone starts ringing a bit more. So we kind of geared up for it last year and started kind of putting more more advertising out, kind of just to start planting the seed fuel. And then of course, same thing, kind of went dead for a little bit, and then it started picking up, make some phone calls coming in. But we were sitting anywhere between like 38 to 42, and we can't break that ceiling there, that number, for at least like the last 6 months. And we pretty much been stagnant there.
So the last 6 months is when you really saw a pretty big spike in your revenue, but it's just kind of plateaued.
Right, right. So the beginning of last year, it jumped from like 20, 22, 26, 28, 32, 34. But right around July, August, it kind of hit like that 40, and then it kind of set like 40 again, and then it kind of went down to 38, and then back up a little bit, 39. Um, this month or January, we hit 42, 42.5. Like, okay, cool. Like, all right, maybe hopefully it's in things are sure to um kick up again, but definitely not where I would anticipate. I mean, it's definitely plateaued.
Yeah. Was the 42.5, the 42,500, was that your best month?
Yes.
Okay. So January, like you said, typically tends to be one of those weird months where, like you said, it's usually the first couple weeks is kind of slow, and then it spikes up. So you did pretty well. Most people's revenue in January usually dips a little bit, and then February tends to pick back up. And I think you've kind of seen the trends too. Then, typically February, March, April, May tend to be pretty good months. Then you get a little bit of a slower kind of time in the middle of the summer. People are on vacation and kids are out of school and stuff like that. And then can be kind of slow from June to August, kind of. And then September, October, November, December typically tend to be pretty good months. December might be a little slower with the holidays and stuff, but But yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you did. I mean, you did a record month in January, right? So I guess really, are you plateaued, or is it just one of those things where you just kind of had one of those periods where the revenue was fluctuating, stabilizing, and then this year is it going to go from 40,000 to 50 or 60? We just haven't really given it enough time, right? So who knows? I mean, it could just kind of stay where you're at between 40, 45, and that's it. Or it could be higher than that. Typically with these kind of wellness practices, these cash-based practices, usually you will hit a plateau and it's just you don't really grow out of it. If you do, it's very, very, very slow. Maybe just maybe 1,000, couple thousand a month or something over a period of, a couple years. So you might be in that stage. That stage typically starts between the $40,000 and $60,000 a month kind of range is what I've discovered with lots of people I've talked with over the last, 5-6 years. So you could just be in that stage, maybe if you just keep doing exactly what you're doing, maybe it will plateau around 50, between 50 and 60, maybe, or maybe you'll stay around this number. It's just, who knows? So let's talk about then, what can you do to ensure that you're not going to plateau at that number? Like, let's see if we can get you, 3x this year. You would be looking then at making 100,000 plus a month. Is that realistic? Maybe not. It seems like those higher numbers tend to slow down in terms of like the multiple of where you grow. That's kind of why I said 1.52x tends to be something that's a little bit more realistic. So you shortcutted it your second year, you hit 3.4x or whatever it was. So maybe this year it'll kind of stagnate there, and then 2027 maybe it'll then keep hitting the 1.5x. So this year I would say that realistically, if you're doing the things that you need to be doing, investing money back in the business, doing the stuff that you need to do to scale this thing, I would say 1.5 to 2x would probably be fairly realistic. So, with that said, you're probably looking at this year, if you do the right things, okay, just realistic number. I don't want you to like have this expectation and then you don't meet it. And then, anytime you have a failed expectation, usually it causes a little bit of mental distress, right? So, instead of having expectations, just have more or less realistic goals. So anyways, I guess if you do 1.5x this year, you'd be hitting probably something more like 60,000. You did 2x,
Yeah.
you'd be hitting 80,000, right? I think,
Yeah. I'm aiming for the 60. That's the goal.
yeah,
Like
I think
I
that's
kind of like I kind of reframed it like that. I don't know if it's gonna happen. That's good. I don't know if it's gonna do that again. Especially in my area, we're pretty saturated with clinics and stuff. So what we did was strategize was kind of undercut everyone, and then slowly we started bringing our prices up to like deliver the good service, and then kind of start reshaping like, all right, $10 extra here, our monthlies or whatnot. So we kind of came up to a better spot, and um, but we're still definitely competitive, like way competitive, especially in our area. We did a lot of work. Our Google business page has 190 something 5-star Google review page, 5 stars. Um, we have like 2 ad campaigns running on Google, about 2,000 a month, on ads there. We have a like our website marketing kind of guy that we have him redoing our website, seeing that we're having more traffic now, kind of spending more money on building the website out a little better, better tracking on what pages, how much time they're spending, paying really a lot more attention to the analytics, um, you know, making sure it's a very easy, streamlined process for the patient. Um, so we're just kind of keep reinvesting right back into it, like anything we can, um, and not wasting on things that we shouldn't. Tried the gym things, and that was a kind of a bust in our area. Nothing really came out of that. I think we got one patient. Um, and so kind of just more focus on what we can fix and clean up. So spend a lot of time just kind of refining, tuning up, um, and just keep delivering good patient experiences.
So you're focusing a lot on volume. You're trying to focus on more customer acquisition, it sounds like, right now.
Yeah, yeah. I would assume like, well, I would assume like I've never done this before, but I'm assuming like, deliver the great customer service, the great experience, and then let our patients do all the work for us and do the referrals and all that. Let have the experience kind of speak for itself.
Yeah.
Um, you're kind of like the new guys on the block, so it's kind of funny when like on Google Maps will pop up anywhere in the city, top five or so on Google Business page, but on the Google search, we're kind of a little lower on there. Um, but that's where hopefully all the Google ad why we're spending so much on the Google ads to try to keep up with the competition.
I don't think I'd worry too much about where you rank on the page itself. I think that where you rank on the maps is what's important because that's where they go. Okay. I mean, most people are going to look at the map before they start scrolling down. Okay. So that should really be your priority. Um, the Google ads that you're doing right now, I guess walk me through a little bit. Okay. So whatever paid advertising that you're doing right now, walk me through the top, three or four, whatever that you're doing right now, and walk me through which ones are actually converting, which ones are actually performing. Like, so your Google ad, for example, I mean, how many patients are you getting from that?
Yeah, we're getting probably like so we have two campaigns running, one for the weight loss, more just all geared more towards weight loss with its own landing page, and then TRT Men's Health with its own landing page, so we can split it and actually see like the traffic and stuff like that. Um, and then from the call from ads, what we're getting is maybe like 8 to 10. So then they'll click and then they'll link to our website and then they'll maybe do it through there or our Google business page. Um, but from the ads itself, I would say probably getting at least 2 to 3 each. So maybe 6 patients tops a month for our ads,
How much are you spending?
2,000 in total,
So your patient acquisition
like a
cost is
thousand, a
something.
thousand.
Okay, so your patient acquisition cost is like $300 ish.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you make that back on the first visit, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's not
It's like
terrible.
by
I
two
mean,
months. Yeah. Make our money back.
you'll make it back, right? And they stay around
Yeah.
for, year, 2 year, 3 years, who knows, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you get a pretty good return on your investment there. So,
I think so.
yeah. Um, really, really profitable big clinics tend to have a patient acquisition cost of between $50 to $100. So that could definitely look better. But like you said, you are in a very, very saturated area. So, for you, it's not necessarily a bad number. I mean, you are getting patients from it. So I would definitely keep doing that. Now, your other paid advertising, what else are you doing?
So we have two different campaigns for on the Google Ads aspect of it. So one split only for weight loss, the other one only for TRT. So 1,000 each. That's how much spending. Then we have our website revamp. Our guy that's developing our website kind of and new changes and new tweaks. Um, they made the landing pages for us as well. We switched over from like GoDaddy to what's it called? What are they using now? WordPress, I believe it's called. Yeah,
Yeah.
WordPress. And so, like, I don't know how to do anything on WordPress. Like, I know it's kind of, streamlined, simple. I'm like, I don't have that much time to spend on trying to perfect this stuff. So I have them pretty much doing that. And then we pay them 1,000 a month, and they also take care of all of our social media stuff. So they'll post uh on like Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, about 2, 3 times a week. Um, and then kind of link stuff together. Um, I just don't have time to do all that stuff. They'll just film something on my phone and I'll send it over their way and they'll do the editing. They'll do all that stuff. I told them like, well, we've gotten a couple of people off like TikTok or Instagram, but I don't spend anything on there. It just, yeah, I just didn't see any value in it. If they find us like they happen to stumble into the page and they're like, oh, cool, we're in the same city or same state, great. Kind of do it more for credibility um, in our area, if anything.
And that's it.
Yeah,
How much are you paying these people a month?
1,000.
Just $1,000.
Yeah.
And do you have any clue at all if the website optimization or the social media posting is actually generating anything?
It has definitely gone up on the ranking when we look it up for like the Google pay, like the Google, see where you rank your website, so on for according to, and then we'll have like Ageless and some of the bigger guys here in town. So I definitely see our ranking going up on that. Before we were like 10th page in or something. I think now we're like second, first to second. It kind of keeps teetering back and forth. Um, I think they just keep getting us beat by like how much time they've been around,
Right.
so much stuff. So yeah,
Okay, so you're spending okay, and then the Google ads, are you managing that or are they
yeah, I'm managing that. I
you're
am.
managing that? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So you're spending $3,000 a month on digital advertising,
yeah,
and that's the
stayed
only
the same.
advertising you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. And then Google reviews, you have how many?
194,
Oh,
196.
yeah. Okay, so that's good. You're prioritizing that, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
196 to be exact this morning.
Yeah, that's a good number, man. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be prioritizing that. Every single patient you have should be leaving you a 5-star review. So you just do whatever you got to do to get that, you know. I mean, just give them free B12 shots or a free bottle of Viagra or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, okay. Uh, okay, so I mean, dude, keep doing that. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't keep doing this. I mean, $3,000 a month is not that big of a deal, and that's part of the margin, the number that you gave me, the 45% ish or so. That's including paying
Hmm.
for the ads and everything, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. The $1,000 a month, having them post on social for you and optimizing your site, etc. Um, probably probably wasted dollars. You could probably do that yourself. I mean, posting on social media is not that hard. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not that big of a deal to do that. The SEO standpoint of your business, I mean, there's only so much you can really do. If you're putting articles on your website and videos or whatever, correct?
Yeah, the blogs and stuff, and then like tagging it so it can Google can do the crawling thing that it does. Anytime it says like, oh, unable to crawl these pages, fix the tags or whatever, doing that so it'll be tagged and discoverable,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Just staying on top of things like that. Um, yeah, just be proactive,
yeah,
patiently active.
yeah. Well, I mean, keep doing that. Make sure that they are optimizing for generative engine optimization as well. And by that, I mean, are you popping up in Gemini and Chat GPT and stuff like that? I mean, people are using the large language models to find
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah. We've had a couple patients that they found us on Chat GPT. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I
What is
mean,
that? What is that called again? Kind of optimization?
it's called GEO, generative engine optimization. You need to make sure that they're doing that with the articles that they're posting on your site. So it's really just having like key takeaways, frequently asked question on every single piece of content you produce. Um, you can do it yourself. It's not that hard. You basically just create like a project file in Chat GPT or Gemini. And you essentially just say, optimize this article for GEO, and it'll do that. It'll add key takeaways and It'll have key takeaways and a frequently asked question at the end of each article. Basically, it's really not that hard of a thing to do. Okay, I mean, you just do it yourself before you send them the article or whatever. All right, that's just one little thing that you can do. I mean, it might take you an extra 5 minutes per article to do that, but if it generates an extra patient or two every month, it's worth it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, so I would definitely be focused on that. So from an advertising standpoint, man, I don't want you to spend a lot of money advertising. Most clinics that do very, very well, that make, $1 million a year, the majority of them, it's word of mouth. The majority of them, okay? The majority of those practices do not spend a lot of money advertising. They just make themselves clearly findable, basically. You know what I mean? By doing the things that you're doing, the SEO, the GEO, the 5-star reviews, ranking high, that stuff right there is just whatever you got to do to be easily found. That is where that's what your focus needs to be on. And then just word of mouth. And that's what you need to really be leveraging the most of in terms of patient acquisition in your business. That's what most very profitable businesses do. They do not spend a lot of money on advertising their practice because most people are looking for this already. They're already a warm lead. So just how do you extract them from turning into a warm lead to an actual paying customer, right? That's what you need to focus on. So if you're spending $3,000 a month on this right now, then I would say probably stay at that. Now, what you could do, you could experiment with this and say, next month, let's bump that ad spend up on Google from $1,000. Let's bump it up to 2,000 and let's just see what happens. Okay. So instead of spending $2,000 total, spend $4,000 total and see if it doubles the patients. I mean, if you're spending $300 per patient for a patient acquisition cost, you're spending $300 and it tracks and correlates with the amount of money that you're spending. So, if you double your ad spending, get double the patients at $300 per patient, it's still profitable. You're still making money, right? Because they stay for 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, right? It's still profitable. Yeah. So bump the ad spend up. Now there will be a point that there will get to a point where the ad spend itself starts having a diminishing return on your investment. You start putting more money into it. It's $300, then it goes to $350, then it goes to $400. There gets to a point where it's just it saturates it essentially, and then it's just a diminishing return on your investment. You need to find what that number is, and the only way to do that is by increasing your ad spend and seeing what happens. Okay, but there will be a point where it's just a diminishing return. Then you scale it back and you find that perfect number. You probably aren't there yet. I bet you could probably increase ad spend and probably get more patients. And actually, the patient acquisition cost actually might go down a little bit before it goes up. Okay. So if you have the bandwidth, increase it and just see what happens. Okay. Might be one of those things where it's a total flop. I wasted $2,000 this month. Oh, well, that's business, right?
That's just
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
That's just business,
Happens.
man. Yeah. So I would say give that a try. That might be some low-hanging fruit for you. Now, in
Yeah.
terms of, if you want to scale and grow this practice, you got to get those numbers up. You got to get the volume up. And so I would start heavily focusing on how do you increase the lifetime value of each individual customer and how do you get them to refer more people to you, right? So some kind of referral program, loyalty program, something like that in your business. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, we essentially anybody that they refer TRT Men's Health, we give them 50. Any weight loss when they sign up for any type of like GLP-1 service kind of deal, 400. I'm sorry, 100.
That's
So
pretty
100 for
good,
weight
man.
loss, 50 for TRT.
Do you push this though?
Uh, they on every new patient sign up when we finish that, they automatically get a message as well, kind of reviewing quick reviews on the visit, like a visit summary, if you will. And then also, hey, our referral program is X, Y, and Z. Um, so we could probably touch base on it a little better during the visit, but they definitely get the message, and then we'll send them out every like I think quarterly. We kind of send reminders, and if we're doing like any like special or deals for any add-on services for our current clients. And that's kind of how we stayed, I think, at that 38 to 40 during the slower months, like November, like October, November, December. I said, all right, well, we know it's going to slow down. So let's start pushing to our current customers, like deals for like Tomorrowland and other add-on services, stuff like that. And tell them, hey, this is just special just for you guys. And that kind of has kept the volume, the revenue up a little bit. Um, and that was kind of our tactic during that time. So
Well,
I would say yes, but maybe probably do a little better or
yeah.
post it in the office somewhere. Sure.
Yeah, it needs to be posted in the office. It needs to be given to them whenever they have their information packet given to them at the end of the visit or whatever. This is a summary or whatever. Anytime they get a reminder for blood work or refills, reminders of their upcoming follow-up visit, every point of communication that you have, you should mention something about it. Obviously, don't be too spammy with it. Okay. So try to find that happy medium there, experiment with it and see what works. If they get a lab reminder, just include in that text, do they get like a text message for like lab reminders and follow-ups and stuff?
No, we usually will have it charted like on their in the EHR, like if they're they need so what the process is they'll message us. We tell them, okay, when you're about done with this vial, but about a week or so, and we kind of give them the date. Say, hey, reach out so we can schedule some labs and request refills, see if we have to do follow up stuff like that. And so the patient will reach out to us and say the only time that we have for you guys is just when you're running low on your vials, let us know. Um,
So,
so that you're not on auto refills.
okay, that works fine for where you got to. Okay, that works
Hmm.
fine for the first year or two of your business, but I would recommend that you start automating that. So in your EMR, you should be able to put reminders in there the patients get, right? That so like, 3 weeks before their scheduled follow up, they should get a text reminder. Your lab work is due. Please call the office or go to this link or whatever. All right. You need to automate that. All right. And then the refills, try to time that as well. The easiest way to do that is whenever the visit is done, at the time the visit is done, they're checking out or whatever. You either do it as the provider or your receptionist or whoever does it. They just go ahead and schedule it based off how much they ordered. Very rough estimate, right? It doesn't have to be completely accurate. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 weeks until they're running out. Could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Just an estimate, right? Your refill is coming up. It's it's time to refill your medicine. Please call our office or go to this link or whatever. Okay. So try to keep in more contact with them through automations. And then in those automations, that's also where you can just plop in there. Oh, and by the way, refer a friend or a family member, get $50 off your next bill or whatever. Something very simple like that, dude. Okay.
Okay.
Constantly remind them. Because if you don't remind them, they're going to forget, man. They're just going to. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I utilize aesthetic record and then spruce for like communication. Um, and they do offer some like automation for messaging or like scheduled reminders, things like that. So I assume there would be a good time to add it on so it'll automatically just do it for us. And I think it shoots them a message and or text. I have to double check exactly. I know it definitely sends them a reminder anytime we cancel, add, reschedule, things like that. So I'm assuming it'll be a part of that as well.
Probably, yeah. I'm not familiar with aesthetic record, but
Mhm.
when they have a follow-up visit scheduled, does it send them a text reminder? Is there an
Yeah,
SMS?
about a
Okay.
day before the reminder of like I think have it set to like a couple days before. I think that was the longest it could go
Okay,
for
so
this
then
out.
you should be able to do the same thing for the lab work reminder and the refill. Now, what you might have to do is you create some dummy visit types within the EMR. So the visit type that you have is a follow-up visit, and tied to that follow-up visit is the reminder, correct? So you then create dummy visits that's like 5 minutes long or something. You just schedule it on like a fake provider or something in the EMR, and you create one for lab reminder and then refill reminder. And it's actually a visit, but then you just tie the reminder to it. And it's just like a 5-minute visit or something in your calendar, but it's not actually a real visit, but it's just for the text reminder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we do. And we just use simple
Okay.
practices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eliminates them trying to figure it out. Hey, am I due? Am I, well, yeah. That kind of
right,
initiates that.
exactly. Yeah. So like if you look at like our calendar at our men's health clinic, there's all these like little random visits all over the place. And it's just for those lab reminders and the refill reminders. That's all it's for. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you could try that.
Good touch point.
Yeah. Dude, and you add the referral message in there. It's convenient for the patient, like whatever. Just give it a try. It's something that's super easy, low-hanging fruit that you can do. Okay. Um, Question for you though. You mentioned that you started extending the lifetime value of your customer during the slow months by giving them deals and emails or whatever. Hey, this month you get 25% off Moreland or whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. You have a proof of concept there. It's proven it works. It increased your revenue by a few $1,000s, right? Mm-hmm. It worked. Okay. You have a proof of concept. Instead of doing that during slow times, just make that part of the procedure of your business. You know what I mean? Always have these things going out. Always have these deals going out. Every single month you have something going on. All right. Or you can create a reminder that is sent to the patient 2 months after they become a patient with you, that automatically sends every single patient 2 to 3 months after they see you for the initial visit. Get 25% off Moreland, get 25% off Moreland, whatever. Okay. And you just automate these things and they just get sent to the patient at certain time frames that make sense. At 3 months, they might be interested in a peptide. At 6 months, they might be interested in adding, I don't know, low dose nandrolone or whatever. Okay. You just start doing these reminders inside your EMR or with your communication spruce or whatever. That it's like a nurture email sequence post visit that every single month or every 2 or 3 months they get an email with a special or something like that. Make this just part of the procedure. Don't rely on that during slow months. You will increase the lifetime value of every single customer like at a sustained level, at a constant level. And if you do this, instead of increasing your profit by $2,000 or $3,000 every month or during the slow months, you're doing it on a very regular basis, and that will exponentially snowball. Okay. Because your goal right now is to squeeze out every single $1,000 here or there that you can, because it exponentially stacks on top of each other. That's how you get from $40,000 a month to $60,000 a month while not really increasing patient volume, right? You can rely solely on increasing patient volume to increase your revenue, or you can rely on increasing patient volume and increasing the lifetime value of each individual customer. That is how you will exponentially grow this thing to hit $100,000 a month. Okay. Really, really need to focus on that. Okay. Any questions there?
No.
Okay.
You're absolutely right on that aspect.
Yeah. Anyone listening to this, like, that's what you need to be focused on. Don't just focus on strict patient volume, just patient acquisition. Increase the value of every individual customer you have. I've said this before in other podcasts, it is cheaper to market to your current customers than it is to get a new customer. It's always cheaper. Okay. It's always cheaper just to squeeze out more money from your current customer than to get new ones. So maximize that. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. So we talked about some marketing aspects, patient referral programs, getting your Google reviews, stick with the paid advertising, maybe increase the budget on that a little bit. I think that will handle the patient acquisition component of this. Okay. There's not much you can do to just end up getting 100 new patients every month. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. This is a longer game. Most clinics that do $1 million a year have been in business for 4 or 5 years. Okay. So you're only 2 years in, dude, and you're doing pretty well. So you should be able to get there. With that said, I'm curious, weight loss and HRT, which one, break this down for me. What percentage of revenue for each one of those? All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
So currently we have 165 active memberships, and a few that kind of come and go, every couple months, or are just kind of saying like they'll come in for like a cycle for Moreland, or they'll get on for like 3 months and go away and then come back. But as of currently, typically it's 164, 165 currently active. And it's 133 are men's health TRT, and the remainder are weight loss. So I would say that's probably, like 80, 20 weight loss,
like that.
80 men's health.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I should tell you, you should focus on the men's health, right? I mean, weight loss is such a dime a dozen thing now.
Yeah, there's so much around us with that I'm like I'm not gonna put some of this stuff out for, first month, $120, like it's not even worth the time. And then I don't even want that kind of demographic that's gravitating towards that. There's just so much more work for little, or if any, return. So
yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. It's just not worth it. So I'm curious then, the 2 Google ads that you have that you're spending $1,000 a piece on for weight loss and HRT, how many patients are you getting for the weight loss and how much patients are you getting for the HRT? Estimated.
weight loss, maybe 1 a month, maybe 1 or 2. The rest, like, I would imagine being the TRT, the men's health side.
So then if I was you,
Shift it over.
I would just get rid of the ad for the weight loss, dude. Why?
Yeah.
What's the point? You're talking about a patient acquisition cost of $1,000. How long does that take to get back?
Right. Our starting cost for weight loss is we do it at $400 a month.
So it takes you
we have
almost 3 months.
2.5. Yeah. About.
That's not worth it, dude. I'd scrap it. Just scrap the weight loss ad. Just get rid of it. Focus strictly on men's health. Just dump the $2,000 to men's health and see what happens. That's where your focus should be. Okay. Just dump the weight loss ad. It's not even worth it. Instead, just try to sell the weight loss to your men's health patients. That's what we do at my men's health clinic. I don't advertise weight loss. I just don't. I just give it to my patients, increase the long-term value of each individual patient, right? Just do that instead. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love doing that. I show them like my before and afters. You were like, all right, this is what I did for my TRT and weight loss journey. And then I show them before and after. Like, yeah, this was like 4 months of doing both. And they're like, oh, I could do that. Like, oh yeah, man, you hold on to your muscle. It's like, you'll get dialed in pretty quick.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they love it.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you should be focused on instead. Focus on getting more men's health patients. Okay, let's talk about the other aspect of scaling, growing your business, becoming operationally efficient. Before we jump into that, though, I just want to say, that is how you're going to break past your plateau in terms of income goes. Increasing your volume, that sort of a thing. Your pricing, I mean, you can always increase your pricing a little bit if you think it's necessary, but if you are happy where you're at, then don't worry about it. Um, if your margins start dropping a little bit because your costs start going up, you're going to have to increase the prices a little bit. But one way to increase your profit is by slowly increasing your prices. And I'm talking about like $5. That's something very, very small that most people don't even notice, right? Like $5. And you do that once a year or something, all right? No one really makes a fuss about it. It's such a small amount. And you just say, I'm sorry, just our shipping costs and stuff had gone up, guys. Like, whatever. You can make it whatever you want to justify it. Most people don't bat an eye at $5. You always have a cheap ass, but most people don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, though, so let's talk about the other lever here in terms of scaling. It's going to be, how do you get yourself a little bit more out of the business? What kind of staff do you have right now?
We have two 1099. We have one that's like an MA that is that works with the other provider. She's there throughout those business hours, and we just pay her like 1,000 a month to she like do, as somebody comes in, they need a lab draw, do that. Somebody comes in, needs supplies, hand them the supplies. Um, Somebody's like, hey, I need to refill something, and she'll kind of forward the messages and stuff like that. And then we have somebody that answers the phone that's really well versed in mentality or what we do. And because the calls are so sporadic, it was hard for us to justify, like, do we pull the trigger on a W-2 now and just have them sit there and doing things, or visit, like, hire 1099 to just answer phones and make sure to sell them and book them. So it's kind of alleviated having to do a lot of 15-minute free phone consultations, and they're just like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Let's sign up, ready to go.
Is that like a
So
is
that's
that like
kind
a
of streamlined.
VA?
I'm sorry.
Is that like a VA? Like
Yeah, yeah, for the most part, yes.
yeah, okay.
The phone answering person, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I mean, let me ask you, what do you feel like you need other employees at this point?
No, I think it's a matter of just streamlining the process, optimizing it. Because my ultimate goal is we want to open up another spot, same kind of principle, subleasing in a very small place, closer to another part of town where there's a influx of like what would be like Boulder City, and then where there's a lot like more money, if you will, for people that want it, not as saturated. But I want to duplicate like our proven system before we do that, just because I don't want to experiment with such a big cost or a big um, investment kind of deal. So by splitting that, what I'm hoping is anybody from the surrounding where we're at now, that 4 or 5 mile radius all gravitates to the clinic now, and then we'll be 5 miles away or so. That radius will gravitate to that clinic. The men are just men are like, yeah, they love deals, but they just don't want to travel as far. They've got one location on the corner of Vegas, so I'm trying to funnel everything into those areas. Um, that's the next move that I was thinking about doing. Probably not until if we start having that growth in revenue and a proven system where we can duplicate it.
Yeah, I think you're probably a little ways from that, to be honest with you. Usually, when you open up a second location, usually it's because you're flush with cash and you see a real opportunity and you want to open it up to, hopefully double your volume. If you have another location, you should be able to scale it, right? But usually when you open up a second location, a lot of times it's kind of, you're at a point in the current location where you've really just kind of maximized what's available in the area. You'll get to a point where you probably will plateau. I mean, you will get to a point where you will plateau. You will hit a point where you're making $100,000 a month or whatever, and you just cannot get past it. You just can't, because the patient turnover rate and the new acquisition rate basically it's a wash, and there's just no more people to sell to, right? I mean, there's not an infinite amount of patients out there. So you will basically saturate the area that you're in. And then at that point, that's when you're like, okay, I want to keep growing. I need to expand. and then you hit a new market, right? So there just gets to a point where that's kind of just it, man. Like that's just, but I don't know. I don't think you're there yet. Probably
No,
not.
I don't think we're there yet. No.
Yeah. So like I think the second location's probably I'd put it on the back burner. You're probably a good solid 2 years away from that, probably. Um, you could maybe advertise in those areas that you feel like are where you feel like there's not a whole lot of services being provided in those areas. You can maybe advertise there and just do more telemedicine visits or whatever. Um, so yeah, okay. So it sounds like you probably don't really need a whole lot of employees at this point. We should probably do another call, another podcast when you get to that point so we can start talking about it. But I feel like you're probably not quite there yet. How far out are you guys booking new patients?
We're like week to week. Somebody calls, they want to schedule tomorrow. We have availability for tomorrow. Um, it's our follow-ups are really quick, fast. They come in, so we get a physical in-person visit out of it, and then hey, we got your lives back. Let's just do a quick virtual telehealth. Here's your follow-up. Cool, you're good to go. Here's your med.
Okay.
Um, very simple, easy. When they come in, we give them supplies, draw their labs, and then they come and go. So it makes it a very easy, quick touch point for them, and we count it as a physical visit. So we're all compliant with regulations.
Okay. So if you can literally get someone scheduled the next day, then the growth lever here for you in scaling is literally what we just talked about in the beginning of this episode. I mean, for the first, for the 40 minutes we've talked about it, is just increasing patient volume and extending the lifetime value of each customer. I mean, I feel like from a growth lever, hiring people, hiring another NP, that sort of a thing, you're not there yet. You're not, I don't even think you're probably even close to there. And I don't think it's
No.
necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way I'm going to hire another MP when I'm working full time. Doesn't make sense. Pay somebody to clinic while I'm working full time. It just doesn't make sense.
Correct. It makes absolutely no
No.
sense. Like you are probably a year or two away to even considering it. Like the next employee you're going to hire is probably going to be just a full-time MA to be there in the office answering phone calls and giving injections or whatever. That's going to be the next person you hire. Um, so yeah, I think those are going to be your big growth levers. And one other thing that you could also think about too is there some kind of really high ticket offer that you could provide to people? Like, could you provide some sort of real high ticket concierge program where these people are paying you $1,000 a month or whatever? You know what I mean? A very high ticket program. Think about it and maybe just offer it. Experiment with it. Put it on your website and see what happens. Like
Kind of
real
like a
high
TPC kind
rollers.
of deal, or kind of like the whole package, the whole shebang. You get your primary care aspect of it. You get your hormones, includes a hormone thing. Um, Recommendations like quarterly add-on, peptides or whatever that's
Yeah.
least legal compliant. I
The
can't wait for that,
full,
but hopefully it goes legal. But yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
expect what it does.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. We get called on that all the time. Peptides.
Yeah. Um,
But
the full shebang, dude. Like, if they want to pay you $2,500 a month, you give them whatever they want. like, you know, and you give them your cell phone. You are their concierge provider. They can text you at any time if they need anything at all. They text you, hey, my kid got strep. I got a sore throat. No problem, dude. I'll send you in a Z-Pack or whatever. You know what I mean? Straight up concierge care, high ticket kind of thing where you essentially kiss their um this is something you could think about doing because I know there's those type of services are offered in your area, and people tend to do very well with those because there are people with money, and so it might be something to offer from a men's health standpoint, a men's health concierge program where I am like here for you for anything that you need. It's more of a comprehensive visit for the first visit. Maybe you add some additional lab work to it. Maybe you do like a stool analysis or whatever. You just do a real comprehensive kind of a thing, like an executive level kind of physical sort of a thing. And HRTs included, the peptides included, maybe growth hormones included, whatever. So maybe think about that. That could be something where, you get a couple of those patients every month, man. Dude, you're scaling your revenue quite a bit. So just one more thing you can add. But let's go to the becoming more operationally efficient. We talked about some automation stuff. What about standard operating procedures? Are you beginning to write any of these things?
I am, yeah, standard operation protocols and procedures on. So for the clinic, like new patients, roles, responsibilities for each role, um, what must be done for the MAs, things like that. The next one is going to be like how to answer the phone when they call about weight loss, or how to answer the phone on when they call about mental health and they're interested in mental health, how to schedule a patient, um, and then how to confirm, verify that they're going to be showing up the next for their actual encounter rather than having no calls and no shows and stuff like that. Because eliminate those kind of things and more touch points to organize that. How to handle when somebody calls for a refill, things like that. Those are the SOPs I'm starting to work on now. Um, Yesterday morning, I was pretty much at the office just doing that and just kind of plugging that in while I was doing a couple of refills and stuff. So kind of maximize the output of my any free time that I do have.
Okay, good. I would say keep writing those. Every single possible procedure that you are doing during it, you start writing it down. Like just what we talked about with the automations in terms of scheduling the labs and whatever, every single thing. Um, Begin writing all these out, print them off, save them, whatever, and then that way, when you do hire someone full time, they are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so keep doing that. It's one of those things that takes a little bit of time, right? Anyone listening to this, you do not need an SOP manual when you first launch. It is a waste of your time. An SOP manual is built as you run the business. You start figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. So just keep doing that. And then that way, when you are ready to pull that next lever for growth in terms of hiring someone, you have it. You have the training module. You have basically the training manual done. Same thing with clinical protocols. Begin writing out how you like patients treated. Everything, this is how you do TRT. This is what you do if the hematocrit's elevated. This is what you do if PSA is elevated. This is how you start a peptide. This is blah, 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 blah. Everything. Okay. Begin writing out some clinical protocols and just slowly write them out. And then that way, when you do hire another NP a year from now or 2 years from now or whatever, they are ready to rock and roll. And so like, you're basically setting yourself up, man. You're basically, you're stretching the canvas over the frame, and you're setting out your paintbrushes and you're setting out your paint, and you are getting prepared to finally paint that masterpiece. You're just not quite there yet. You're just setting it all up. And then that way, a year from now, 2 years from now, man, you can pull that lever and you can begin, you can begin the process. You can springboard right off it because you've already built it all. That's what I would be doing if I was you. You're just not at that point right now. Like, yeah, I mean, you're not even at a point where, yeah, like you said, you don't need to hire another NP probably for a while. Like, you need to quit your job before you hit that mark.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's two of us. Like, there's no way we're gonna do it. You know.
Right. You're
So
not there. And dude, by the time you hit there, you're probably gonna be making $100,000 a month in revenue, probably, maybe even more. So like whatever it is that you're doing it right. You're making pretty solid money right now for the amount of time you're putting in this and how many patients you have. You're doing well. So keep doing exactly what you're doing. And I would just focus on whatever, basically everything we just talked about in terms of the patient acquisition, getting referrals, maximizing those ads, increasing the lifetime value of the customer. I don't think there's really a whole lot else you need to be focused on right now.
got it. So I guess it's kind of hearing the um you're doing what you're supposed to. Just let time kind of pass to kind of let things happen. Because you're just always on the build, scale, grow, do. Especially in the startup phase, that there's so much to do. Things that do work, things that don't work. You're like, oh, learn that lesson. $2,000 there on ads. It didn't work. Crap. So, like when we do that again, do I have to answer every single pharmaceutical rep, blah blah blah? Like, no, I don't have to waste time on that because we know we have like the cane come up with these margins and or numbers, and what's the point? Like, just filter them out. Paying attention to the actual like important big meat and potatoes of work, right? So no, I think that is helpful on knowing that we're kind of on track where we should be. It's just kind of fine tuning small things and focusing on those deals, just letting time kind of happen.
Yeah.
Um, you
Yeah,
know,
don't get into that. Don't fall for that trap where you feel like you always have to be doing something, okay? Sometimes what you need to do is just let some time pass. Like,
right?
like
Yeah,
exactly what you said. Like don't get a lot of entrepreneurs get in this trap where they feel like they always have to be doing something. They always have to feel like they always have to be doing something to grow the practice and to hustle more. You really don't. Sometimes it's just the best thing you need to do is just give it a little time and focus in on the things that matter. Patient acquisition, really, right now, and increasing the lifetime value of the customer. I think anything else is really kind of a waste of your time. Like, you know, expect nothing here, but just accept everything that's happening. That's the mindset you need to have in just business and life in general. Expect nothing and just accept everything. Accept the fact right now that you're doing very, very well. You are above the curve here. You are above average right now. You are in your second year. You're clearing 40,000. I mean, you're making $40,000 a month. That's pretty good. You have gotten over the biggest hurdle of starting a business. You have a proof of concept here. You've proved it. You've proved that this business is a viable business to focus on, right? You're in year 2, you're making you're year 3 now, you're making money, you're doing very well for the amount of time you're putting into this. You have proved the concept, and now it's just more or less letting some time pass and just trying to maximize everything that you can from a revenue patient acquisition standpoint. The fine tuning, the scaling stuff, hiring people, the SOPs, all that stuff. It's really not all that necessary to be doing any of that right now. But if you got some time, why not write the SOPs and stuff out so that way you are ready to rock and roll when it happens? So, yeah,
right on. Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
Any other questions?
Um, let's see. Handling like a partnership and things like that. We haven't really ever assigned roles, but we're both pretty much like on the same kind of, I would say, mindset where we were both up pretty early, 4 or 5 in the morning, getting our day started, and then our heads don't hit pillow till 10 o'clock at night, and we're kind of like, okay, who's on that kind of deal? Like, okay, I'm taking lead on this aspect or this project, and he's lead on this project or aspect. He'll take more clinical side. Well, I'll take more. Okay, we got to set up these ads stuff, right? So we're kind of like split the work, so it feels like there's two like operators all the time, and I'm like, great. That like that communication is like so we're not doubling up on the work and not wasting all that time, and I think that's probably why we were able to do so much in so little time because there's two of us that had the exact same mindset, and then now we're at this place where like, man, like we're at this spot where if it was just one of us, sure, one of us would be able to leave full time. But I mean, is it really like would it be? I would say fair, but I mean, could I leave or you leave? Like, would that make a difference, or we just kind of keep rolling where we're at and just keep doing, figure out what's going to work? Um, I think that partnership thing is probably was a little bit of a learning experience and kind of made the whole journey of starting your own clinic and the entrepreneurship not as lonely in the trenches. So that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting aspect of it.
And reduce the risk too, right? I mean, it reduced your
Oh,
risk.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, if you trust your partner explicitly, you know, if you like, I'm assuming you trust them, right?
With my life.
Yeah. Okay. So it's that. I mean, it's like it's that kind of friendship partnership. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, obviously, what's good for both of you, or what's good for one of you, is good for both of you. And so, um, going your own ways, you would basically be starting from scratch, more or
Pretty
less,
much. Yeah.
right? You'd
Yep.
split the patients right in half, and you'd be right where you're at. Now you'd
Right.
be competitors, you know. Um, so that's probably not the best idea. I think that what you're doing is working. There's no reason to fix something that's not broken. I think that you both working in on this together will give you both a lot more free time as this scales and grows, because he can do things, you can do things, and you'll have a little bit more free time. You won't have to be so focused on all the business stuff because you have a partner that's doing the other half too. And so it will work out in time. I think that in the next 1 to 2 years, you both will probably be able to leave your jobs and focus on this 100%. And you both will be making, when it's all said and done, $25,000-$30,000 a month profit a piece. And, you'll be able to quit your job way before that. And so, when you both are able to start spending a lot more time on this business, that's what is going to really start skyrocketing. Um, and then 3, 5 years from now, when you're ready to just say, I'm kind of done with this, you both can sell the business and you both will make millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I mean, so lesson learned, right? In my opinion, I usually advise against partnerships, but you're kind of in a position now where giving up the partnership just wouldn't make sense. So you're kind of stuck, but moving forward in the future, you've gotten your feet wet in a business, and now you realize how easy it is in reality of starting a business. Yes, there are some very, very hard parts of starting a business with the risk and the headaches and the liability and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's easy, but you realize it's really not as hard as you think it is. And so when you start a new business in the future, I would say avoid partnerships. That way it's all yours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it was kind of like that whole having the confidence to do it. And then we kind of both kind of pulled our resources because he had the space to do it. So we have virtually like no overhead or anything like that for the office now. And that whole little aspect of it was like, well, he brings something heavy to the table. I bring a good amount to the table, just like like, hey, this is what I wanted. He's an MP when we saw each other in MP school again as well, since high school. And both have the same values, all that stuff. So it makes it really, really easy to work with, and solid dude. And so I think it was kind of like we both brought in whatever resources we could or do have. We've gone through like, I think we had a cease and desist letter within the first like month or so, month and a half of like opening our door. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like we haven't even started yet. Um, the with the primary care side on there, sometimes we'll funnel some patients that don't qualify uh by insurance medicine, so that gives us a little bit of a funnel. Um, and So it's kind of helpful in that aspect. And it's kind of like one of those things where like he could focus on the clinic side and I just sort of business development thing, and I'll pick up patients here and there as well. So offloading some of that is pretty nice. Um, but yeah, we both talked about like, okay, well, what's the next step? Well, we both want to get, put somebody else in our position, and then we just kind of focus on the business stuff. But of course, we're, like you said, a few years out from that. And
Yeah.
so I guess more so it's like just hearing hey, you're on track, what you're supposed to be doing. Like, just go to sleep, take a break, you know?
Yeah, take it easy, dude. You're doing well, man. Just allow a little time to pass here. Like, I honestly think, I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of your business and whatnot, but like, I really feel like if you probably just did exactly what you're doing right now, I bet you'd probably hit $50,000-$60,000 by the end of the year. Now, if you do all the things I just told you, maybe you'll hit 70 or 80, maybe. You know what I mean? So just give it some time, dude.
For sure.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I think that's the big stuff. The automation and touch points with the patient, that was probably one of my biggest things. And you just kind of just made it really simplified then. From I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta sign up and do another integration with a whole other thing and all this stuff. And we've had thoughts of like, oh, let's do a telehealth thing where we can sign up, we can have a third party, and then they just expand to other places and all. I'm like, yeah, but then you got to market all that. And I'm like, that's just a whole nother project and a whole nother thing. It's like just focus in our, in our community stuff and the demographic that we know and just kind of let time pass. There's so many virtual telehealth places that just don't do as well. They just don't. If we went all virtual, it wasn't going to happen. Um,
So,
yeah. So
total waste of time.
yeah,
Don't bother getting licensed and seeing patients in other states and stuff. Don't even waste your time. Yeah. Cool. I like the episode with you. Ask me a question. You have a question for me? Personal question or curiosity or anything?
let's see. Did you have any mentors during your journey, entrepreneurism?
Yeah, I had a couple. I think I was asked this question, maybe 2 years ago or something. So it's been a little bit. One of the biggest mentor I had when I first started, just first started my own business, was the guy that came and mowed my yard. Like he owned a very, very large landscaping company in the city that I was living in. And he was very, very business savvy. And the guy was doing $2 million a year in this landscaping business. So
Nice.
the guy was making very, very good money. Okay. I mean, he was doing more than just mowing yards. I mean, he would get commercial contracts with the city and like that, and so that guy really helped kind of shape my mind in a way for business. Our businesses were completely different businesses, but at the end of the day, business is business, right? And so I definitely had him as a mentor, and then a couple other random people here or there that kind of just came my way, and I would just ask some random questions and stuff. And so definitely having a mentor on your side, just to get some feedback from is definitely a good idea. So yeah, I definitely had a little help. But a lot of it was,
Mhm.
a lot of what I did was honestly self-taught, man. I listened to business podcasts. Like I would listen to nothing else. I would just listen to business podcasts probably for like 2 years. So I have my own MBA that I made myself through just business podcasts and reading books and stuff. Um, so yeah, just keep always learning.
For sure. Yeah, I'm on the same platform or on the same page there. A lot of these business podcasts and like, oh, that's a good idea, and things like that, and then of course the Elite MP. That was my go-to. I mean, I'm like, okay, I guess I got to start re-listening to these podcasts again because now I'm kind of running out of material and they're expanding too well. So it's yeah. So
Well,
anyone actually listening, yeah, mental health, the weight loss, the peptides, the marketing, the financial. I think I had like 6 to 8 courses of yours, and put all together, I think that really like sped up the uh um the progress, if you will, in my clinic. I mean, to the consent form, the membership agreement forms, things like that. It like eliminated so much of that unknown fluff work. So definitely investing into. I remember having that conversation with my wife, like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this course. I'm gonna do actually a couple. I'm gonna put this all together. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I got CEUs out of it. So either way, I walk away with some CEUs. Got to do it anyways, and let's just see what happens." And and from there, it was like, dude, what are we doing? Working for other people, and like it's yeah, it brings you even up to page with like up to speed with like the taxes stuff and just being more financially literate and stuff that you don't
yeah,
learn in school or ever came across. So it's definitely been super helpful.
good, man. Look at you, dude. Year 3 of your business, you'll do 500,000 this year. So yeah, that's awesome,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, FYI, the podcast before this one is, I know we're recording this, but the podcast that I recorded right before this one should be the podcast that is out before this one. Listen to that one. She's in a different position than you are. She's in a point where she's like needing another NP. She's needing, to hire more staff, etc. So the last podcast really is like a master class in scaling your business, which is where where you will be in the next phase. So by all
Got it.
means, listen to the previous podcast of this one and save it, because that one right there will give you what you need in the next phase a year or two from now. So cool.
Awesome. Love it.
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here, and best of luck. Oh, I mean, you got my contact information. So let's do another follow-up if you need to.
Cool. Love it. Thanks.
All right, cool, brother. Bye.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.